Владимир Владимирович Putin.
President of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin. May 7th, 2000. Vladimir Putin's first inauguration in the Kremlin Palace, Moscow.
Клянусь.
In performing my duties as the President of the Russian Federation, I pledge to respect and protect the rights and liberties of every citizen, to serve the people faithfully.
Верно служить народу.
In September 1999, as a result of the explosions of 4 residential buildings in Moscow, Buyansk, Volgodonsk, 367 people died. This gave a reason for the Kremlin to start a military punitive campaign against the Republic of Ichkeria. According to the historian Yuri Felshtinsky and former FSB colonel Alexander Litvinenko, the bombing of these residential buildings was organized by the FSB, former KGB, and authorized personally by Putin. It was written in their book, Blowing Up Russia. At that time, Vladimir Putin was Russia's prime minister, who accused Chechen separatists of preparing these attacks against civilians, as stated in Astana on the 24th of September. Russian aircraft are hitting every terrorist base. We'll go after terrorists wherever they are. At an airport, okay, at an airport. If we find them in the toilet, in an outhouse, we'll do them in right there. End of story. Such a tough position by the Prime Minister sharply raised the rating of Vladimir Putin and allowed him to win the presidential election in March 2000. Subsequently, by order of Putin, Russian special services poisoned Litvinenko with radioactive polonium. He died agonizingly at a London hospital. On April 7, 2000, 1.5 weeks after the election of Putin for the first presidential term, an airplane from Russia landed at the New York airport. Regular flight, Boris Ivanuzhenkov, Minister of Sport of the Russian Federation, who in the recent past has been a crime boss named Roten. He came to America to negotiate with the Russian Varangians in the NHL, but his visa was cancelled at the border control without any reasoning. However, he was allowed in the US for several days after lengthy negotiations between the General Consulate of the Russian Federation and FBI. Mr. Ivanuzhenkov has been deported afterwards, without the right to visit the US in the future. This was the first slap of the State Department to Putin. However, there were no further protests from Kremlin. After a meeting in Helsinki between the US President Donald Trump and Russia's President Vladimir Putin on July 16, 2018, Scott Gilmore, former diplomat and social entrepreneur, published an article with the headline, "Donald Trump's Last Best Friend, Vladimir Putin," in Canada's national current affairs and news magazine, Maclean's Magazine. Having analyzed the outcomes of the meeting in Helsinki, Mr. Gilmore states, in 2013, on his way to Moscow, Trump tweeted, "Will Putin become my best friend?" 5 years later, the answer is a clear yes. Find the link to the article in the video description.
I think I would have a great relationship with Russia and with Putin.
You know what? Putin's fine. He's fine. We're all fine. We're people.
No, Don, Putin is not fine. So today he is a state and war criminal.
In Syria alone, over 400,000 people were killed by Russian weapons in the last 10 years. Apart from that, over 20,000 children were killed or harmed.
I met Putin first time in 1994 in St. Petersburg during my short trip from United States to Russia. So first time he was kind of a normal official who in right place. After that I met him many times and I realized that today he is absolutely different person. I believe he's war and state criminal. It's why I stopped to communicate with Russian authority and with him as well. And I'm wondering why Western officials and Western leaders shake his hands and communicate with him. is just unbelievable. It's just my opinion, and I think I'm right because I know him very well, and I believe today Russia is a neo-fascist state, and Putin really unshakable person.